We are back. I'm talking with Mayor of Niagara Falls, Jim Diodati. Before the break, we were discussing his priorities for the current term as mayor. Mayor, I know that the Niagara Falls Hospice is near and dear to your heart. Can you give us an update?
Yeah, thanks for an opportunity. We knew Niagara Falls needed a new hospital. It wasn't built, the last one was built in 1958, and we're in the process. We just broke ground with the premier a couple of weeks ago. And one of the other things we identified is a hospice. I watched some loved ones pass away and, in a clinical setting, which is terrible. I mean, I was able to take my dog to a nicer setting at the local humane society where there are Afghans and pillows and blankets and a nice place to be at peace and cry and do whatever it is that you need to do. So we've made a commitment that we are going to build a hospice right here in Niagara Falls. I've got a number of parcels of land that have been identified for donation. I've had a lot of people that I've called on for donations for the new hospital that have said they would donate toward a hospice. So we're putting the plans together along with City Councilor Victor Peter Angelo, myself, and our CAO, Jason Burgess, and we're working together to put together a plan that we can have when built. We want to have that done sooner than later so that anyone that does have to face, the idea of passing on, they could do it in a dignified way, in a peaceful setting, and in a place that I think everybody will feel better. So that'll be another priority that we're going to get done this term.
It sounds amazing, and of course, something that every city needs. Mayor, let's talk about the wine industry. When I think of Niagara Falls, I think of the amazing wines we have. What are the challenges that the wine industry is facing, and how are you helping?
Well, I'm working with the wine industry. Even though the majority of it is not actually in Niagara Falls, it still benefits Niagara Falls. It's in Niagara. We've got more than 130 wineries here. 90% of Canadian ice wine is produced right here in Niagara. And for anyone that's traveled, especially through Asia and other areas, it's like liquid gold when you go there. Real, legitimate, non-counterfeited Canadian ice wine is like gold. So we've got a huge opportunity, and I've been working with John Peller and some of the other smart people involved in the wine industry. And we have a chance to add $8 billion of GDP to the wine industry and to the country over the next 25 years if we do things right. And it's a number of things, including, the tax situation. When you look at the West Coast in Canada and the US, they've got 6 major wine regions. When you look on the East Coast in Canada and the US, there's only one. It's only one. It's here in Niagara. So this is the place where we can do it, where we can stake our ground and we can really build the industry up. And the way I look at it, in Niagara, we offer a buffet of fun and excitement. There's something here for everyone. There's meat for the carnivores and vegetables for the vegetarians. Well, there's a huge group that like the theater of Niagara-on-the-Lake and the wine industry of the rest of Niagara region. Well, let's use that as one of the drawing things to bring people here and build the GDP of the country. So we just need the government working together collectively on the tax issue. And there's we do have a strategy that we're working, but I can tell you, I am working collectively with the wine industry to help them, to help us, to help them, to help us.
Well, there are some amazing wines here in Ontario that are world class. Our sparkling wine is amazing. And it's great that we can grow and have prosperity from that industry. Mayor, I'm hearing from business owners across Canada that they're faced with the ongoing challenge of finding labor. How is this affecting Niagara Falls?
Yeah, well, that is probably the number 1, 2 issue is labor. And it's very, very difficult because things are getting more and more expensive. And how do you run a business? And having run businesses myself, I know the challenges, and your biggest expense is your labor. And if you can't even find the labor, it's just the most frustrating experience where I know, and it's a combination of things. COVID didn't help with the attitude. I know employers tell me they get ghosted on interviews, or they hire someone and then they get ghosted when it comes time to show up for work, meaning they just don't show up. They don't call, they don't email or text. They just don't show up, which is incredibly hard for me to understand. Growing up the way we were taught, you showed respect, and you always told people what you were doing, even if it was bad news. So I know part of the hope is that the million new people that are entering this country every year, that a good portion of them will be able to fill some of the labor jobs, professional jobs like doctors and nurses for sure, but also general labor jobs, whether it's working at a drive-through at a restaurant or if it's helping pick fruit. We need the labor. And I can tell you, I meet a lot of these people from different countries. They're grateful to get a job doing labor here, jobs that a lot of Canadians won't do because they can make a lot more money than they could ever imagine back home, and they send money to their families. So it is a very good thing for them, and it's a good thing for us.
So how do we get the people that want jobs and connect them to the people that have jobs. And we just got about 20 seconds left.
Well, and that's the key, is mashing everybody together that's supposed to be together. So fill them specifically. So if there was a way to coordinate between the federal government and the lower levels, where you put it in order for, I need 500 people to be doing this kind of a job, or we need 500 at this kind of a job,